Miami's new big three is scarier than people realize. First, let's talk about Giannis, because the numbers on this guy are honestly ridiculous. 2-time MVP, 10-time All-Star, 9-time All-NBA selection, 5-time All-Defense selection, 2019-2020 Defensive Player of the Year, 2021 champion, 2021 Finals MVP. That's the resume walking through the door in Miami, and that's before anyone even looks at what he did last season. In the 2025-26 season, Giannis only played 36 games, and even with that limited sample, the production was absolutely absurd. He averaged 27.6 points a game, 9.8 rebounds, 5.4 assists. He shot 62.4% from the field, 33.3% from three, and 65.0% from the free throw line. Those are MVP caliber numbers in a shortened season, and they get even crazier when you stretch them out. Per 36 minutes, Giannis was putting up 34.4 points, 12.2 rebounds, 6.8 assists, 1.2 steals, and 0.8 blocks. Let that sink in for a second. 34 points and 12 rebounds. Every 36 minutes, he's on the floor. That's not a complimentary piece, that's a walking triple-double waiting to happen every single night. Now let's get into the advanced numbers, because this is where it gets even more insane. Giannis posted a 32.6 PR last season. His true shooting percentage was .658. His usage rate sat at 37.0%. His box plus minus was plus 9.5. And in only 36 games, he racked up 5.0 win share. 5 win shares in 36 games is the kind of pace that, if stretched over a full season, would put him near the top of the entire league. By the way, if you guys enjoy these deep dives, I'll be posting every day. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks. Anyways, here's the thing people need to understand about how Giannis actually scores. This isn't a guy who's living off tough contested jumpers. Last season, he attempted 424 shots from less than 5 feet away from the basket, and he made 321 of them. That's 75.7%. 75.7% shooting from anywhere inside 5 feet is video game numbers, and it gets even more specific when you zoom into the restricted area. Giannis attempted 402 shots in the restricted area and made 311 of them. That's 77.4%. Think about that for a second. Almost 80% of the time, he gets a shot up right at the rim, it's going in. That is the single most important stat when it comes to understanding why his game translates so easily no matter who's around him. Now let's break down his full shooting zones, because it tells the real story of who Giannis is as a scorer. From 5 to 9 feet, he shot 32.4%. From 10 to 14 feet, 32.1%. From 15 to 19 feet, 24.2%. From 25 to 29 feet, 31.7%. And from three-point range overall, 33.3%. So the farther he gets from the basket, the less efficient he becomes, which honestly isn't shocking for anybody who's followed his career. But it does tell you exactly what his role should be. He's not a guy you want settling for jumpers. He's a guy you want attacking downhill, over and over and over again. Let's talk about that three-point shot for a second, because people love to bring it up. Giannis only attempted 45 threes in 36 games last season. He made 15 of them. That's 33.3%. It's not elite volume, and it's not an elite percentage, but 33.3% is also not a number that lets defenses completely ignore him out there. It's just enough to keep a defender honest, even if it's never going to be the foundation of his offense. His efficiency numbers overall are what really separate him from almost everybody else in the league. Giannis shot 62.4% from the field for the season. His effective field goal percentage was 63.6%. When you combine that with a usage rate of 37.0%, you're looking at a guy who's doing an enormous amount of the offensive lifting and doing it about as efficiently as humanly possible. That combination of high usage and high efficiency is exceedingly rare in this league. Let's get into the free throw numbers too, because this matters more than people give it credit for. Per 36 minutes, Giannis was generating 12.4 free throw attempts. 12.4. That's an enormous number of trips to the line just every 36 minutes of action. His free throw percentage sat at 65.0% for the season, which isn't great, but the volume of attempts he's creating means he's putting constant pressure on opposing teams regardless of how many of those shots actually go in. Physically, Giannis measures in at 6'11" and 243 pounds. According to Miami's official roster listing, that puts him as one of the most physically dominant front court players in the entire league, both in terms of height and strength. Now here's where things get a little more complicated and it's important to stay unbiased about this part. Giannis only played 36 games in the 2025-26 season, 36 out of a possible 82. That's less than half the season. So while the per game and per 36 numbers are absolutely elite, there's a real conversation to be had about durability and availability going forward. You simply can't assume that 36 games of elite production automatically stretches out to a full 82-game season without any drop-off. That's one of the biggest question marks hanging over this entire situation. And the cost to acquire him was massive too. Miami had to give up Tyler Herro, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Kello Ware, Kasparas Jakuchionis, the number 13 pick in the 2026 draft, a 2030 first-round pick swap, a 2031 first-round pick, a 2033 first-round pick, and a 2033 second round. That is an enormous packet of both proven players and future draft cap. So this wasn't some small side move. Miami bet an incredible amount of their future assets purely on the idea that Giannis's impact outweighs everything they gave up. For context on where Miami stood before all these moves, they finished the 2025-26 season with a record of 43-39, landing them 10th in the Eastern Conference. So this is a team that wasn't even a guaranteed playoff team as currently constructed. And they went out and added a former MVP with these kinds of per game and advanced number. Let's circle back to the PER one more time because 32.6 deserves extra attention. League average PER sits around 15.0 every single season. Giannis was operating at more than double the league average efficiency rating across 36 games. That's not a small gap. That's an enormous gap that puts him firmly in the conversation with the very best players in basketball, healthy or not. And it's worth restating his true shooting percentage one more time too, because .658 is an outrageous number for a guy carrying a 37% usage rate. Usually, when a player's usage rate climbs that high, efficiency tends to drop because the degree of difficulty on his shots goes up. Giannis defied that completely last season. High usage, high efficiency at the same time. That combination is what makes him so difficult to game plan against statistically. So when you strip away everything else and just look at the pure numbers, here's the snapshot. People need to remember 27.6 points, 9.8 rebound, 5.4 assists, 62.4% shooting from the field, 32.6 PER, .658 true shooting, 37.0% usage, 77.4% shooting in the restricted area, 12.4 free throw attempts per 36 minutes, 5.0 win shares in only 36 games played. Those are the numbers Miami is building their entire future around. And no matter how anyone feels about the trade cost or the durability questions, the statistical profile speaks for itself. Next up, Bam Adebayo enters this Haas new era as a 3-time All-Star and 6-time All-Defense selection. And honestly, those accolades barely scratch the surface of how complete his game really is. Last season, in the 2025-26 campaign, Bam played all 73 games. 73. That kind of availability matters a ton when you're talking about building a contender around him. His per game numbers were seriously impressive too. 20.1 points, 10.0 rebounds, 3.2 assists, 1.2 steals, 0.7 blocks. He shot 44.2% from the field, 31.8% from three, and 77.8% from the free throw line. And he did all that while playing 32.4 minutes a night. Now let's get into the advanced numbers, because this is where Bam's value really starts to show up. He posted a plus 6.1 net rating last season. His assist percentage sat at 14.2%. His rebound percentage was 14.6%. His usage rate was 24.8%. And his true shooting percentage came in at 55.1%. Those numbers paint the picture of a guy who's doing a little bit of everything, not just one specific job. Let's talk size for a second, because it's a big part of why he's such a unique defender. Bam measures in at 6'9" and 255 pounds. That combination of size and mobility is exactly what allows him to guard bigger players in the post while still sliding his feet well enough to stay in front of smaller, quicker guys out on the perimeter. 6 all-defense selections don't happen by accident. That's a real, proven track record of elite-level defense across multiple seasons. Here's something that really stands out when you dig into his numbers. His defensive rebounding percentage was 23.6%, and his total rebound percentage was 14.6%. 10 rebounds a game isn't just a nice counting stat either. It directly fuels the kind of fast break opportunities that make an offense so much more dangerous. His passing numbers deserve attention too. 3.2 assists per game doesn't sound like a jaw-dropping number on its own, but when you pair it with a 14.2% assist percentage, it shows he's a legitimate decision maker out there, not just a big guy standing around waiting for the ball. Let's look at his turnover number, because this is honestly one of the most underrated parts of his game. Bam posted a 7.1% turnover ratio and a 1.93 assist to turnover ratio last season. That's a really clean, efficient decision-making profile for a big man who's asked to do a lot with the ball in his hands. Now here's a stat that shows real growth as the season went on. After the All-Star break in 2026, Bam's usage rate jumped up to 26.6%. His assist percentage climbed to 16.2%. His assist to turnover ratio rose all the way up to 3.16. And Miami's offensive rating with him on the floor during that stretch was 121.1. Those numbers show a player who was trending upward, taking on more offensive responsibility, and actually getting more efficient while doing it. Let's talk shooting efficiency for a second, because there's some nuance here worth pointing out. Bam shot 44.2% from the field last season. For context, his career field goal percentage sits at 52.2%. So last season was actually a step down from his usual efficiency, even while he was still putting up 20.1 points a game. That's worth keeping in mind when evaluating where his game might be headed next. His three-point shooting is an interesting piece of the puzzle too. 31.8% from deep on 5.5 attempts per game. That's not an elite percentage by any means, but the volume tells you something important. He attempted 5.5 threes a night, which means he's already being trusted to operate as a real perimeter threat, not just a traditional back-to-the-basket center. Free throw shooting is another area where Bam brings real value. 77.8% from the line last season. That's a massive gap compared to some of the other bigs on this roster, and it matters a ton in close games when teams start intentionally sending guys to the line. Let's put his age into context too. Bam is currently 29 years old. That places him right in the middle of Miami's new core in terms of career stage, with plenty of prime years still ahead of him, while also carrying 9 seasons worth of NBA experience already under his belt. Now let's zoom out and look at his overall statistical profile one more time, because when you stack it all together, it's genuinely impressive. 20.1 points, 10.0 rebounds, 3.2 assists, 1.2 steals, 0.7 blocks, 44.2% shooting from the field, 31.8% from three, 77.8% from the free throw line, a plus 6.1 net rating, a 14.2% assist percentage, a 14.6% rebound percentage, a 24.8% usage rate, and a 55.1% true shooting mark. That's not a one-dimensional player. That's a guy putting up numbers across scoring, rebounding, playmaking, and efficiency all at the same time, while also holding down 6 all-defense selections over the course of his career. Let's also touch on his post-All-Star surge one more time, because it really is worth repeating with full context. 26.6% usage, 16.2% assist percentage, 3.16 assist to turnover ratio, and a 121.1 offensive rating in his minutes. Those are the kind of numbers that show a player leveling up his offensive role in real time, not just coasting on reputation. It's also worth noting his overall availability compares directly against the other new additions to this roster. 73 games played out of a possible 82. That kind of consistency is genuinely valuable, especially when you're talking about building continuity across an entire season. Let's revisit the shooting splits one more time in full, because the complete picture matters here. 44.2% from the field for the season, 31.8% from three-point range, 77.8% from the free throw line, 55.1% true shooting. Those 4 numbers together tell you exactly how efficient or inefficient his shot profile really was across the entire season. And one more time on the defensive side of the ball, because this really is the foundation of everything else. 6 all-defense selections, 1.2 steals per game, 0.7 blocks per game, a 23.6% defensive rebounding rate, a 14.6% total rebounding rate. Those numbers back up exactly why he's considered one of the more switchable, versatile defenders at his position in the entire league. Let's talk about his overall workload one more time too, because 24.8% usage is a real number, not a small one. That means nearly a quarter of Miami's offensive possessions were running through him last season, all while he still managed to put up a 55.1% true shooting percentage. That's a legitimately solid combination of volume and efficiency for a big man. To wrap up the full statistical snapshot here, Bam Adebayo's 2025-26 season looked like this: 20.1 points a game, 10.0 rebounds a game, 3.2 assists a game, 1.2 steals a game, 0.7 blocks a game, 44.2% shooting from the field, 31.8% shooting from three-point range on 5.5 attempts a night, 77.8% shooting from the free throw, a plus 6.1 net rating, a 14.2% assist percentage, a 14.6% rebound percentage, a 24.8% usage rate, which climbed to 26.6% after the All-Star break, a 55.1% true shooting percentage, a 7.1% turnover ratio, a 1.93 assist to turnover ratio, which rose to 3.16 after the All-Star break, and a plus 121.1 offensive rating in his minutes during that same post-All-Star stretch. Those numbers, stacked all together, show exactly why Bam Adebayo remains such a statistically significant piece of this roster, no matter who else gets added around him. And the latest addition is Klay Thompson, whose story with this new Miami squad starts with one simple truth. He's fourth all-time in made three-pointers with 2,899 of them, and he shot 40.9% from deep across his entire career. Five-time All-Star, four-time NBA champion, and Miami signed him on August 23, 2026, giving him a 2-year deal worth $11.5 million. He's entering his 16th NBA season, and he's 36 years old. Let's start with what he actually did last season in Dallas, because the full picture matters here. In 69 games, Klay averaged 11.7 points, 2.1 rebound, 1.4 assists, while shooting 39.3% from the field and 38.3% from three. He played 21.7 minutes a night and made 8 starts. He attempted 7.6 threes a game and knocked down 2.9 of them per game. Over the full season, that added up to 202 made threes. Now compare that career mark of 40.9% to last season's 38.3%. That's not a massive drop-off. It's close enough that Miami can reasonably bank on his shooting still being elite, even if it's not exactly his peak self anymore. Let's talk about his shot profile a little deeper, because there's an important detail hiding in these numbers. Last season, Klay shot only 41.8% on 2-point attempts. That's a pretty significant number, and it tells you his offensive value has become almost entirely centered around the 3-point line rather than scoring inside. Physically, Klay is listed at 6'5" and 220 pounds. That's still a solid frame, plenty big enough to guard bigger guards and some wings, even if the athleticism that made him an elite defender in his prime has understandably declined at this stage of his career. Now let's look at team context, because this matters for understanding exactly why Klay's shooting is such a needed addition. Miami shot 36.1% from three as a team last season, which ranked 11th in the entire league. So this isn't a situation where Klay's walking into a roster that already had elite spacing figured out. He's filling a real, tangible need. Let's zoom out on his overall career numbers one more time for full context. 2,899 made threes, 40.9% from three for his career, 5 All-Star selections, 4 championships. Those numbers put him in a completely different tier than almost any shooter in league history, and that reputation alone forces defenses to respect him, even on nights when the shots aren't falling. Now here's where it's worth breaking down his season numbers stat by stat one more time, just to make sure every single figure gets its proper attention. 11.7 points per game, 2.1 rebounds per game, 1.4 assists per game, 39.3% shooting from the field, 38.3% shooting from three, 7.6 three-point attempts per game, 2.9 made threes per game, 21.7 minutes per game, 69 games played, 8 starts, 202 total, made threes on the season. Those numbers represent the lowest scoring output of his career, and that's worth stating plainly and factually. But scoring average alone doesn't capture his value in this specific role with this specific roster. Let's revisit his shooting splits one more time, because it's the single most important data point for understanding his fit. 38.3% from three last season, compared to a career average of 40.9%. That's roughly a 2.5 percentage point gap. In the world of elite three-point shooting, that's a real but manageable decline, not a total collapse. Let's talk about volume again too, because 7.6 three-point attempts per game is still a healthy number for a role player. He wasn't asked to dominate the ball, and he still generated enough attempts to remain a real offensive weapon on a nightly basis. Now contract details matter here too. A 2-year deal worth $11.5 million is a very team-friendly, low-risk investment for a player with this level of shooting pedigree. That number tells you Miami isn't betting the farm on him individually, they're adding him as a specialized complementary piece. Let's go over his physical profile one more time in full. 6'5", 220 pounds, 36 years old, 16th NBA season. Those are the exact numbers that define where he is physically at this stage of his career, and they matter when projecting how his role should be shaped going forward. Let's revisit his career accolades one final time, laid out clearly. 2,899 career, made three-pointer, which ranks 4th all-time in NBA history. A career three-point percentage of 40.9%. 5 All-Star selections across his career. 4 NBA championships won. Now here's a stat worth restating with full weight behind it. 200 made threes in a season, specifically 202, is still an elite total volume for a shooter, even in a reduced role. That number alone places him firmly among the most productive three-point shooters in the league last season, regardless of his overall scoring average dropping. Let's put his free throw and overall shooting efficiency into full context too. His field goal percentage on the season sat at 39.3% overall, while his two-point shooting specifically was down at 41.8%. That gap between his three-point efficiency and his two-point efficiency really tells the whole story of who he is as a player at this stage. Let's go over his rebounding and passing numbers one more time as well. 2.1 rebounds per game, 1.4 assists per game. Those aren't high volume numbers, but they were never meant to be the focus of his game. His entire offensive identity has always centered around shooting, and last season's numbers reflect a continuation of that specialization, just at a reduced overall workload. Now, let's talk minutes one more time, because 21.7 minutes per game is a notably reduced role compared to his earlier career peak years. That reduction in minutes lines up directly with the reduction in scoring average, which makes sense mathematically. But it also shows Miami is getting a player who's already been playing in a lower usage, more specialized role heading into this new chapter. Let's restate his availability numbers too, because this matters for roster construction. 69 games played out of a possible 82 last season, 8 starts. That's solid, dependable availability for a 36-year-old veteran. And it's a number worth remembering when comparing him against the other new additions on this roster. One more full pass through the complete statistical picture, because every single number here plays a role in understanding him as a piece of this new core. 11.7 points per game, 2.1 rebounds per game, 1.4 assists per game, 39.3% field goal shooting, 38.3% three-point shooting, 41.8% two-point shooting, 7.6 point attempts per game, 2.9 made threes per game, 202 made threes for the season, 21.7 minutes per game, 69 games played, 8 starts, a 2-year, $11.5 million contract, 36 years old, 16th NBA season, 2,899 career made threes, 4th all-time, 40.9% career three-point shooting, 5 All-Star selections, 4 NBA champions. That full collection of numbers is exactly what Miami is bringing into their new look roster, and every single figure in that list plays some role in shaping how his game translates into this next chapter of his career. If you guys enjoyed this, I'll be posting every day. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching,